What is up, beautiful people of the internet? Zaziko here, and today, as we wait for BO3 to load, I'm going to bring you a Black Ops 3 free-for-all video, but I also want to talk about past week's Stage 2 playoffs, how my predictions shaped out. I want to talk about what I think will happen heading into COD Champs, and I also want to talk about the worst trade in Call of Duty history, but we'll get to that later. Starting off with how my predictions shaped out. They weren't too bad. I mean, there's a lot of surprises, but the overall prediction of Optic winning it was correct. So I was pretty proud of myself for getting that part right. But starting off with the first match, Faze Clan versus Envious. Envious, they made it out of their group, but they really only played Cloud9 and an Epsilon team that, they had a terrible weekend. And then Optic, they came out, they won their game against Fnatic pretty handily, which I expected. I mean, Fnatic, they showed promise, but they just, they're just not. Oh my god, you gotta give me that kill there though, game. But they're just not at the caliber that Optic was. United beat Enigma 6, which I predicted, and then Faze, or we already went over that. The other match, LG beat Splice, which I also predicted. But as far as the second round goes, I did not expect E United to come out and 3-0 Optic like they did. And then Envious to beat Luminosity was also a complete shock to me. Moving on to the losers bracket games, we saw Faze won their first losers bracket game against Splice, which that game could have gone either way, but Faze came to play against the defending Stage 1 champions. And then the Faze, moving on, played Optic. They played Optic tough, and they did a lot better than I thought they would. Faze is not as good of a team as they were at, with Clay. Definitely at a lower level of competition with Gunless. And then winners finals, E United losing to, oh my, I didn't see him. E United losing to Envy. I did not see that. E United, they just came out, they 3-0'd Optic. I thought they would 100% have what it takes to beat Envy, but they didn't, which really surprised me. I thought, if E United's going to be able to 3-0 Optic, they'll be able to really just throttle Envy, but they didn't. And then, oh, sloppy shots to get the kill. Okay, thank God. As far as, and then Faze got knocked out, of course. We're down to Optic LG. Optic won. That's another match that I thought could go either way, but Optic, got really fired up. They're really hungry to play. And E United losing to Envy. Now they're playing Optic. That was a good game. Went all the way to Game 5. Then after that, you saw there's potentially some, oh gosh, bad blood between Clayster of E United and Formal and Scump on Optic Gaming, because Clayster told EU after they 3-0'd Optic to throw up the 3-0 sign, so they were doing that on main stage against Optic Gaming, which, I mean, you can't really do that, especially if that's not knocking Optic out of the tournament. They're still a very dangerous team. And then they, so Formal, Scump, they standing up, getting hyped on main stage. Obviously, they're not putting up with that trash talk. And then apparently after the game, Formal used some explicit language and told Clayster that he was bad, which, I mean, given that he 3-0'd you and took you to a Game 5, he's not terrible. He definitely can play with you. So, you know, some bad blood there. It's interesting. Optic went on, though, beat Envious pretty handily in the grand finals twice. They had to beat them twice as they came out of losers. That part was impressive. I mean, with how Envious was playing, I thought no way they'd lose 2 best of 5s in a row, but they did. And then, so now talking about COD champs. Optic looks very strong coming into that event, along with E United. Envious stronger than I expected, looking like they could make a COD champs run again this year. Which, if you asked me at the end of Anaheim, would Envious be making a COD champs run, I definitely would have said no. So let's start by talking about groups. Optic, Epsilon, Echo Fox, and Threes Up. Echo Fox, they brought Replays back out of retirement, the former coach of Faze. But I mean, Epsilon, terrible Stage 2 group play. Optic just came off of a win at Stage 2 playoffs, so they are obviously looking very good. I think they'll go 3-0 in group play. I don't think Epsilon will show up. I mean, Davey, the team captain of Epsilon, made an incredible COD champs run last year, but I don't think he can do anything. You know, it's just Epsilon, they looked very weak. I think I could see Epsilon potentially losing to Echo Fox and Threes Up. Echo Fox, I'm making a bold statement here. I think they looked very good from what I saw at the North American last chance qualifiers. So I could potentially see them giving Optic trouble, and making it, you know, top 2 in that group. And then Threes Up, we don't know a lot about them. Not one of the strongest teams at last chance qualifiers. Oh, I don't think I see Threes Up winning that group. I don't even see them beating Epsilon. I think they're coming in last place for sure on that front. Moving on to the next group, we have Envy, Elevate, Project Evil, and Mind Freak. And of course, Mind Freak, as well as just APAC COD in general, this Infinite Warfare season has been a joke. I don't see Mind Freak pulling it together any magic. However, against a Project Evil team and an Elevate team that couldn't even win a single map in their group stage at Global Pro League playoffs, Elevate could be looking to play a little bit better. Not anything crazy, though. Envy wins that group, though, based on how they've been playing and just how, what they have to go against in that group. It should be an easy Envy win, and I think Elevate could probably steal the second spot. Moving on to Group C, we have E United, Mind Freak, Team Infused, and Rogue. And Team Infused haven't made a lot of impact in COD this year, and Mind Freak, of course, an APAC team, very weak. E United wins that group easily, and I think in an upset, Rogue takes the second spot.
Free for all.
Group D, we have Luminosity, Rise, Supremacy, and Team Vitality. Rise Nation, they did not look particularly strong in their GPL league, but I think there's competitors on that team that are hungry enough to win to where, they'll be able to steal second and, maybe challenge Luminosity a little bit, but Luminosity should be able to win that group. So I'm not too concerned for, them, but Rise Luminosity, not easily, but they'll make it out of that group. I don't really see anyone in that group that could potentially just come in and just steal second place away from anyone. Moving on to the next group, I believe that's Faze, Red Reserve, Team Allegiance, and Era. Red Reserve, they have Joe and Rated from the Splice team that competed in COD Champs in BO3. So that's definitely some good experience for that event, and you know they could put together another run. The Red Reserve team isn't overly terrible. Of course, they missed playoffs, but I mean, Red Reserve isn't that good to begin with, so it wasn't really a shock that they missed playoffs. But they overall look stronger than I had expected. Era and Allegiance. Allegiance was kind of a name at the start of COD in 2017, and then they just kind of fell off. They lost a team. They picked up a new roster. They had maybe one superstar player that I've been looking to carry them through COD Champs in Royalty, who's now with Enigma 6, and doing a lot better with that team with help from General, but should be making it out of that group, Faze and Red Reserve. Moving on to the next group, let me just check to see who we have. Fnatic, Evil Geniuses, Straight Ripping, and Tainted Minds. Tainted Minds, COD, once again, an APAC team. I just don't see them being able to do anything. Tainted Minds, just, I mean, I don't know what is up with Australian, New Zealand, you know, that region of Call of Duty this year. 4 bullets kills people. I don't know what that is. That's bull. But anyways, Evil Geniuses, despite missing playoffs, it was in a crazy series, and Fnatic looked strong. So, should be Fnatic and EG making it out of that group. And finally, our last group. Let me check to see who that is. I might die here. Enigma 6, Cloud9, Team MRN Black, and Team Caliber. Now, TK got Gunnar. You can never... He's a veteran, you can't count him out, but he's not really a name to be reckoned with in Infinite Warfare. As far as the main 2 teams in that group being Enigma 6 and Cloud9, it's just Cloud9 Aches, he's not good on Infinite Warfare. He's not the Aches that one on BO2, one on Ghost. He's kind of old, washed up. Infinite Warfare isn't really his game. He might be better in World War II, just isn't. They're going to really have to get a hard carry from Priesta and some other young talents on that roster if they want to go far in Call of Duty Championships this year. So, that being said, my overall prediction for who will win COD Champs, it's very up in the air at this point. I mean, it's the biggest Call of Duty event of the year. Everything is different for COD Champs. It's not just a, oh, lagging, gosh, okay, it's not just a normal event. You know, you can't expect to play it like a normal event. It's much different than that. And, you know, Optic, they choke at big events. They didn't choke at the last one, but for some reason they go against teams that they should beat and they don't. Like last year they got knocked out by Cloud9. And I mean this year you got Lacefield who knocked them out last year on Cloud9, now playing for Ghost Gaming. So he's in there and he could be a danger to Optic. He's done it before. He probably is hungry to do it again. And it's going to be really hard for Optic to win this event, just based on their history. They're definitely a team capable of it. They have a lot of talent. They're coming off a big win. But I think there's just a lot of people that want to see them fail. There's a lot of people that, I mean, they started something with Clayster, who throughout his career has consistently been able to take down Optic. So that's scary. Overall, who do I see winning COD Champs this year? I'm going to have to go with E United. They looked very strong coming out of Stage 2 playoffs. Clay is not happy with how Optic acted. He's got something against them. He has been having a rough couple weeks. He got dropped from Faze. He's hungry. He's hungry for a win. He's hungrier than anyone competing at that event. And Scump, even though he's going to be competing and he's going to be going for that ring, I don't see him getting it in Infinite Warfare. I just don't see Optic as a team being able to come and make a run at COD champs. Challenging them, I think. Oh, shot in the back. Challenging Optic for that COD champs title will probably be Luminosity. They've been really good this year, or Envy. Envious, it's just something about this late stage of the year. They just finally decided, you know what, we need to figure out whatever's going wrong. We're a roster that won COD champs. We stuck together through this horrible year. We gotta go. So I mean, those are like the three biggest contenders that I see in COD champs this year. I'm having a rough free-for-all games though. Talking about this, I can't really focus on both. As far as that's also something I have to work on. I'm not very good at talking and playing at the same time, which is why I don't record the 1v1 league when I play in it. Someone else do it, so I can just be silent and focus on, you know, competing with myself. It's because it's having some internet issues. But final topic of today's video: the worst trade in Call of Duty history. I don't know if it's really the worst trade, but it was a terrible one. You're gonna trade Clayster, who brings that winning culture to the team. He's someone that has been around the league for so long. He always has that winning drive. I mean, even, you know, when you saw after the trade happened, we learned everything that went down, and we could see that, you know, this was planned before Anaheim. This was something that could have happened before Anaheim, a change on the Faze roster, and it didn't. And even at Anaheim, Clay was wanting to compete with those guys. He wanted to win, and without him, I don't see a vocal leader. Enable is just not as strong of an AR as Clayster, and you bring Gunless in, who just, on Infinite Warfare, yes, he's good, but is he going to be someone that competes on World War II? Is he going to be someone that they're able to stick with? And he just wanted out of, he didn't want to get onto Faze necessarily. He just wanted to get off of EU. I mean, if you look at it, you heard the rumor where he was trying to get onto Luminosity before Anaheim. It didn't happen. Then Luminosity wins Anaheim, so that trade isn't able to go down. It's just, this free-for-all lobby is now dead. He isn't a player that you want on your team. And I think FaZe made a mistake by taking Gunless instead of Clayster. And yes, Clay is a good player. He's been a good player in pretty much every Call of Duty. Infinite Warfare wasn't his best Call of Duty, but you can't get rid of your team leader. Now it's just a one-on-one. This lobby is stupid. I'm almost done talking anyway, so whatever. You can't get rid of your leader. You can't get rid of the guy that has been pushing that team. And E United, now they get someone that they lacked. They have the vocal leader now. They have, you know, he was telling them to throw up the 3-0 because they're a bunch of young kids. It was their first time being able to beat a team like Optic 3-0. And now Gunless is on to Faze. I don't think he's in it for the long run. I don't think that roster is in it for the long run. I think it's beginning to fall apart. And, you know, Enable, I just don't think he's doing a very good job as an in-game leader. And I think Faze Call of Duty is completely falling apart. They're not going to show up at champs. Roster changes are going to be happening. We're going to see, you know, maybe one or two original players there, but it's going to be a lot of roster changes for that Call of Duty team after Infinite Warfare. As far as everything else goes, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this, and we will see you in the next video.